everyone, my name's Margot. I'm the Artistic Director at Milk Crate Theatre.
Hi, I am Lucy. I am support artist at Milk Crate.
Welcome back to our Devising Theatre online workshop series. We are in week 7, we believe. Yes, and this week we're talking about setting in relation to creating your characters. So really we're asking, what is the world of your character? Yeah, so what is the environment that your character is living in? What is the size of the space that your character is living in? Does your character fit in there or do they not fit in there? There's a whole bunch of questions that we can ask about setting. Can you think of any examples where the setting of a space or a character's world has affected the character?
Yeah. But it's a literary one, actually.
That's okay.
Weirdly.
Yeah.
What's coming to mind is a Steinbeck novel,
Yes.
Cannery Row, and it's a character who lived in a hollowed out ship and that he was just continually remaking, and he didn't want to sail the ship, he was afraid of the ocean, but he just liked continually fixing the ship so that eventually it would be saleable without that ever actually being the end goal, but he would just kind of fit it.
Yeah.
And the same book, there was someone who lived in an old boiler, kind of making homes almost like snails, out of refuse that is around. Yeah.
I've thought of very different setting, but like say for example in the television show Seinfeld or those shows set in New York, these characters in these sitcoms become kind of representative of New York. They very much personify what we think about what it means to live in New York City. And then also as well, there are so many coming of age stories that we see where a young person is starting to discover who they are and the world that they live in doesn't suit them anymore, or it starts to feel wrong and they set out on a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
But then I think we can also think even more abstract about that too. So does your character live in a cloud or a bubble or under the sea?
And how much that the coming of age stories, if they're kind of fantastical, a lot of the time, because you're not fitting into your own setting anymore, you kind of find this magical world which is huge, and it's through a tiny little portal, but you're actually now in the fantasy world, which is your true form, your true size, your true magical abilities.
So interesting things to think about, because that setting of the word of the character can affect the creation of the character and how you shape them, and then their narrative. So you've done this about the character that you've made up for the purposes of these videos, your character Jetty, and you've answered these questions, which will be your task for this week as well, to ask about your character that you've created. So do you want me to just read out the questions?
Sure.
Yeah? So what kind of world does your character live in? This can be realistic or abstract.
Yeah, so Jetty lives on the Central Coast, and in a literal way, it's a very big, wide open space. There's a lot of highways where you're just travelling for a long time with a lot of open spaces near you. In a non-realistic form, when I imagine her, it's like just a really clear, open, white, nothing space. And it's kind of just open. There's not a lot of sort of landmarks.
Yeah. And already, as you say that, I'm thinking, how does that represent what's going on for your character? On the inside, or like you said, in the psychological space, this sense of vastness and where am I? What is my future? And not being able to. There's nothing. This is what I kind of want to get into thinking in this way about how the setting reveals something about the character. Yeah, I love it. Okay, what does this place look like, feel like, smell like?
Okay, so in big wide open space is what it looks like. It looks like not having a lot of landmarks, I
Yeah.
guess, as I said. But smell is like the sea, or it's like a long kind of stifling car ride. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. And it feels just a little bit lost,
Yeah.
a little bit unsure.
Yeah. What's it like to exist there? What happens there?
Again, there's just not a lot to orientate yourself by, so there's not a lot of things to grasp and to focus on. So there's kind of like little spaces of focus, like school and things like that, and tasks that have got to be done. But outside of that, it's still just very vast. So they're kind of, they're not always linking very well. The different focus points are kind of off in mist.
As you were saying that, it kind of reminded me of Waiting for Godot.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, there's that one landmark of the tree.
Yeah.
But then what else is around? And these characters have to exist in this landscape and are part of this landscape.
Yeah. And are very focused on like the shoes.
Yeah.
Whether or not the shoes fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what else?
Yeah.
So who else is there? What else? What happens there? What else? Who or what else is there?
I kind of just got into the little landmarks that were kind of little oases that were like beach, internet, school.
Yeah.
Boyfriend.
Yeah. Yep.
She's not very close to, but they're little kind of oases of sort of meeting.
Yeah. And does your character like living there, or do they aspire to greater things, to travel to other places or to travel to other planes if they don't live in a naturalistic space, or return to their homeland, or
I've just got that she's not super keen on it as it is. She wants more community and more sort of links between things and a sense of purpose and orientation. But she thinks of moving to Sydney, as a lot of her friends are thinking of, but she would miss the beach and the peace and quiet. She's not sure how she'd go with things being a lot busier.
Yeah, a move to the big city.
Yeah.
Is there something about this environment that represents your character in some way, is the question, i.e. is it mysterious? Is it sunny and fun? Does it make no sense? Does this environment represent your character?
So, she's a bit reticent about decision making, which is definitely a part of me that's coming through there. But just the sense that she's quite young and she doesn't really know what she's... she doesn't really know herself very well yet. So in terms of the space being a bit open and not really having a lot of connection points, it's also just because she's a bit like that right now. Yeah, I think.
So there you go. That's a beautiful example of how we can look at a setting or a space and how we can use that. And we're going to be talking about symbolism in further weeks ahead. How that can affect who your character is, where they live, what they want to do, what their aspirations are, can affect the history that you're collecting now for your character. So this week's task is on that sheet, that worksheet there for you. It's those questions that I just asked Lucy. Have a go. What is the world of your character? And can't wait to hear your answers. We'll see you next week.
Awesome.
Bye.